Alright, so for today's video, we're replacing the carburetor on this Honda GX340. It just happens to be set up as a pressure washer. Pretty easy job. These machines, these engines are pretty easy to service and change out parts on. I've got the aftermarket Amazon special here. This was, I believe, 15 bucks. Links in the description for this particular carburetor. Comes with gaskets, comes with a new fuel line. So first thing, we'll take off the air filter and hat. Take off the second link nut and the air filter itself. Take off the lower part of the filter box. And now we have to remove this single bolt right here. Just like that. Now to remove the rest of the carburetor, we have to take off these two nuts. Now in order to get this piece off, you have to move both your levers that direction, pull it off just like that. And we can see this carburetor is pretty well done for. I've already been into it. I've tried to salvage it. It's done, it's had it. At this point, it needs to be changed. This machine had been sitting for many years. All the gaskets inside dried out. There was a good amount of corrosion. It does run with the carburetor in this condition, but I just could not get it to stop leaking. So it's easier and a lot less work and a lot less headache just to replace the carburetor. Now, I use these pliers here. You can get them at Harbor Freight, pretty cheap. But what I use these for is to just pinch off rubber fuel lines. Just like that. And we're going to go ahead and just pull this off and back. Just like so. Now, since I actually have the proper size fuel line, I think the line here that I've got is just one inside diameter size too big. This is the correct size. I just hope it's the correct length from there to the tank. So we'll replace that too, just because. So PCV line, we'll roll that out of the way so you guys can see everything. Pause the video to see how everything is hooked together. And what we're going to do is just kind of slide it off. Let's give it a little bit of help. So at the first part of the Honda sandwich, we've got this metal gasket. We'll save before we get too far ahead of ourselves, make sure that the carburetor looks the same, and it does. And you'll see I'm going to try and carefully pull these linkages out. Start with the big one first. There we go. So this gasket's still good. The ones that they included in the kit is cut in the wrong spot. So I'm not even gonna bother removing this one. We can just go ahead and use it. But here we've got the carburetor itself. So we're gonna put the big linkage on first, spring. Simple as that. So now we're going to work on replacing this fuel line. Slip it on. Just like that. Okay, there's the clip. So now just to route it to the tank, and I'm going to try and do this in such a way that we don't get fuel everywhere. So I just tipped her over. A little bit of drippage out of the line, that's normal. So let's see if we can route this thing through and where it's supposed to go. Underneath the linkages. Yeah, I think we'll be okay, so go ahead and shoot that back a little bit so we can still get to it. So the fuel line is on, it's routed correctly, both the clips are in place, and there is no leaking. So now all we have to do is just put everything back on the same way it came off. That gasket is in place. So just to put this piece back on, I'm gonna turn the fuel on just so we can verify if this carb leaks or not. I didn't end up using any of these gaskets, unfortunately, so we'll save them. Everything is looking good so far. There's no leaks or anything, so go ahead and continue putting everything back together. There we go. So let's bring her outside, hook her up to the hose, and see what happens. All right, so I've had the fuel valve on for a little while now. I haven't noticed any leaking, no random drips or anything, so we're gonna try and start it. I've got water going to the pump. It's on full choke. Switch is on. Happy with that. Runs great with a load on it. Without a load on it, it kind of bounces off the governor a little bit. That's pretty normal for a pressure washer or anything else that uses kind of any sort of clutch mechanism, or if there's no load being run on it, like water going through the pump and out. Anyways, it runs really good. I just used it, you guys saw in the video, to kind of clean off some riding mowers I've got, and this thing's ready for the guy to come pick it up. I think he'll be happy with it. Stay tuned for more videos.